It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Reverend Karen Russo. Reverend Karen is an award-winning author of The Money Keys. With her background as a Columbia University MBA, a corporate leadership trainer, and an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister, Karen shares from decades of insight and experience in both secular and spiritual realms. After training with Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith at the Agape Center and Homes Institute, she served for over 10 years at the New Vision Center in North Phoenix. Today, she works with spiritual seekers and business owners throughout the world who want both spiritual inspiration and practical tools to live with more peace, freedom, and abundance. Please help me welcome Reverend Karen Russo.
Happy New You. Hello to my beloveds at the Creative Living Fellowship. It's Reverend Karen Russo, and today's message is celebrating the spiritual truth of your divinity, my divinity, and seeing how the embodiment of the truth of who we are expresses itself as we move into a new year. And as always, I so appreciate the opportunity to be with you. So let's see where we're going. Celebrating the truth of our divine nature has been Reverend Dr. Sherry's message for the month, that we're celebrating that each and every one of us is made in the image and likeness of the infinite presence of God that Spirit reveals as us. And particularly at this time in the calendar year, it's about the light, the illumined, the Christ nature being celebrated as it awakens in us. And one of the things I always enjoy about this time of year is we celebrate and honor the various traditions of religion and spirituality in so many different ways that moving from darkness into light is honored. So whatever one of those traditions feels really relevant and resonant with you, just know that I join you in awakening with joy to the light of who you are. And so today we're going to say, what does it mean for us to be one with the divine as both love and law? So this is Science of Mind basics. We're one with God as the infinite presence, and we're one with God as the creative process. And what I love about basics is you've probably heard the phrase, basic metaphysics is theory and advanced metaphysics is practice. So we're going to work with that deep truth, the one with love and one with law. And then what does it mean to create in conscious communion with the divine and understanding the nature of spirit, soul, and body? And finally, how do we activate consciously the divine creative process? Spirit inspires action, inspires spirit. Here we go. So many of you are deeply familiar with this teaching symbol, the Science of Mind symbol, the circle representing the infinite nature of life, and then this beautiful idea of the descent of spirit through action of law into form. And this image here you'll see shows the individual replicating the nature on an individualized level of how the universal creates. And you've probably heard, whether you are new to this teaching or whether you are a teacher of this teaching, you've probably heard this phrase, spirit, meaning the infinite, unconditional, eternal nature of life. And then law or soul or mind, which is the how of how life gets to be the way it is. It's the creative process where life reflects back to us. Our consciousness creates experience. The law of attraction, we get what we vibrate. In Science of Mind, we would say the divine mind in action. So that's the center of the process. And then the bottom is the body, the experiences, the circumstances. It's the effects. Cause acted upon by law creates effect. All right, so that's a little bit of definition. So that's what I'm going to play with here as you think about how the infinite nature of life is revealing as you right now. And so we'll begin with the circle part, the unconditional, eternal, ever expanding nature of the divine. So the circle is a simple symbol that reminds us that we have no beginning and no end, that our nature is an eternal nature. And yet there's a paradox here, which is although we are already at one with infinite, unconditional love, that our experience is that we are also ever expanding, that life is progressive. And what I want you to celebrate about that right now is so many of the beautiful questions that Rev.Sherry was asking you. You know, what is it you want to be? As you review your life, how is it you want to continue to expand and show up? What do you want to give? What qualities of the divine are calling to you? As you engage in practices like a visioning practice, where we tune in to our connection to that infinite mind and presence of God, and we discover that abundance is calling to us, then what does it mean? What does it reveal to be more of God's abundance, to reveal more of Spirit's idea of peace, creativity, joy, wholeness, right action, justice? Your oneness with the infinite is the essence of what spiritual practice is. It is cultivating that relationship with the truth. It is deepening in an awareness of that which is eternally and ever true. And then how do we live that out with bodies and problems and cultures and issues and things? We reveal that infinite through consciousness acted upon by law, creating circumstance. And so I want to talk a little bit about having a mature relationship with the divine creative process. When I came into this teaching, it was, almost 30 years ago, came into the teachings of the science of mind and spirit. And there was an absolute empowering call when I heard something that resonated within me, which is I can be happy or peaceful or free regardless of circumstances. And factually, I'm a privileged white woman in contemporary society. My challenging circumstances were very real to me as experience, but they were virtually all internal struggles of shame and coming into early recovery and other issues, but they were still very vibrant challenges. But for me, the freedom and the empowerment and the opportunity when I first heard these teachings was I can be happy, I can be productive, I can feel loved, I can be loved, regardless of that I'm single or that I feel ashamed about my past or I have this emotional struggle. So I hope for you that you have had that quickening of a call where you realize the unconditional nature of spirit is also a law, which is a impersonal automatic response, so that your consciousness, your desire for love reflects as love and experience regardless of what circumstances are. The next level of understanding law is that we look at circumstances that we do not prefer and we say, how can I choose a different consciousness of spirit, a different mental belief, and see that those circumstances change? Because circumstances, effects in the body, the mood at work, the challenges of society, the pleasantness at home, those circumstances are effects of the content and direction of consciousness. Everything is created in the invisible and then out pictures in the visible. And that creation is a fair, automatic, ever happening process. And so I shouldn't even say the word process. I'll get science of mind, X marks there. It is a reflection. It is automatic. So the teacher Jesus said, it is done to you as you believe. The as is an automatic. Who you are is what you get in life. So the next level of understanding that we are in a lawful universe is realizing that law is happening through me. I don't need to make it active. I just need to cooperate with it so that I'm revealing it in a way that I desire. And so the next level is I look at circumstances. I want circumstances to be different. I realize I must be different in consciousness, so I work to change my consciousness through spiritual practice, through visioning, through affirmative prayer, through meeting with a practitioner, through being in fellowship, through worship, through chanting, through many of the spiritual practices are designed to align our consciousness with a higher truth and therefore get a better outcome. What I have observed, and this is after 10 years or so in this teaching, it became clear to me that I would bring my own work forward, and my call was to see how spiritual principles apply to money in our lives. And so I wrote the book, The Money Keys, in the mid-2000s. And one of the things I noticed, and I invite you to see as you think about what you want to reveal, if you see yourself in any of these trends that I was observing, is when it came to wealth, money, and prosperity, which is often a topic area that people want to expand in. What I noticed is I would look around my spiritual communities and I saw when it comes to spirituality, the soul, the law of mind, the belief systems, and the actions and circumstances, the habits. I saw spirituality, beliefs, and habits around money, wealth, and prosperity showing up in a couple of different ways. In the spiritual centers, I observed that there were many beautiful individuals who had a high consciousness of the invisible idea of supply and prosperity and abundance, but were a little, and they also had a sense of, I must affirm that I am worthy, that there is enough supply to go around, that I can be prosperous. So they had the spiritual, they also had that mental and emotional affirmative belief, but they were a little light on the actions and habits, the tactics and strategies, the consistent disciplines that fit with that kind of abundance consciousness. And then, this was, 2004, 5, 6, 7, I would go to the wealth building workshops and everybody was like, you've got a millionaire mind. There was very strong mental and emotional belief, a lot of mind that was very committed to rich people think this way, poor people think that way. You want to have a mind in you that is the mind of abundance. And very strong on tactics, strategies, habits, and tools for how to build wealth, how to give, how to share. I mean, ethical, disciplined, consistent action. But missing that mystic sense of my actions are serving a greater truth that is beyond what my millionaire mind can imagine. And so I really wanted to see how a holistic approach to money and wealth could reveal itself. And that's where the Money Keys, which is a system of a spirituality about money that is not in fear and separation, but is in inspiration and peace because we're already one with the greater, beliefs about money and prosperity. And beliefs are the content of what you believe. It's the thought as well as the emotional response held in place by repetition and intensity. That's what beliefs are. And I wanted to see how you needed to have both spirituality, beliefs, and, my dear ones, habits. Having a consistent discipline of giving and tithing, of engagement with your money, of blessing your circulation. And that's what the Money Keys is. It's spirituality, beliefs, and habits around a holistic approach to money and wealth. And that aliveness in a holistic approach is what I want to invite you into as you look at what is it you want to create as you move into the new year. This is a community that is, I always feel, is at that intermediate to advanced level of working with spiritual principles. So you've had the relief of discovering that you are not lesser and that your potentiality is infinite because that's the truth of who you are. You've had that relief and you've come into a teaching. And now it's what are the ways, places, and areas where you are being called to practice, to reveal. I know as I look into, this is a message toward the end of 2021. It will be an eternal conversation. So whenever you're engaging with it, I'm sure you'll find something relevant. And for me, I have been really working with, I won't say struggling, I have really been working with in these past few years how to be about the business of being active and contributing to social and political challenges that to me feel like so present. Well, so I don't want to say like eternally present, but so like right in my human face. And I know the truth. And how do I reveal it? So that's, for me, that's my topic area as I go into 2022 is what do I want to embody in terms of consciousness, conversation, and action around justice, peace, inclusion, fairness, that really is mine to be and do, because that might be something I'm not aware of even in this moment. So what is your topic area for you? And then what is the consciousness that you long to embody? So what is the spiritual quality that is calling you to be revealed? And what's beautiful about spiritual qualities, you'll often hear Dr. Sherry speak about unconditional love. Well, all spiritual qualities are unconditional. So if it is justice, I want to be about the contemplation of how is divine justice unconditioned. So beyond circumstance or appearance, beyond any human story, there is a justice that is divine, that is ever present. Like that's, so what's the quality? And then how can it cultivate in you a greater understanding of power and supply and truth in that quality? And then don't forget about what is the mental and emotional belief vibration. How do you want to be in relationship to the law that's going to reflect it back to you? So what do you want to be in conversation, in relationship? What are the words you want to be saying interiorly and exteriorly? What's the belief system and expression that you are choosing to embody? And what are the actions that are in alignment with that consciousness? So if it is freedom that you want to embody, is your behavior empowered and free? if it's more loving, is the thing you're about to say or tweet or do revealing the love of the divine that is the spiritual quality that you are committed to. And you'll notice that I have talked about, as you reveal the new you, I've talked about it like coming down the creative process from spirit acted upon by law creates effects. What I also want to say is spirit inspires action, inspires spirit, which means you can activate the creative process going up as well. So a wonderful example of this is the 12-step programs, where you'll often hear it said things like you can act your way into right thinking, or you take the spiritual action and then the mindset, the feeling, the consciousness develops. So that's I put down the substance or the behavior. I look about how I can be of service to others. And what I discover is a more free, empowered, loving, peaceful concept in my mind, which connects me to the realm of spirit. So, rather than if someone's in recovery, it's unlikely they are being told to only go to meetings if you feel like it. It's like, go to the meeting and you'll see that you'll feel like it when you get there. So that's the final piece I want to ask you is, what is it in terms of action that would be changes in behaviors and habits that would evoke or reveal or empower or reinforce the mental and emotional and the spiritual consciousness you want to embody? So what I know about you is that you are an ever-evolving creative expression of the one divine. And as you expand and express, what I know is that the new you, I celebrate it. Happy new you. And so let us move into a spiritual mind treatment. We will pray to anchor the insights from today's message and service. So if you're comfortable, you can soften the eye. Let us pray. So how grateful I am to recognize that the infinite presence of God is an eternal, all-knowing, ever-present whole. This one, love, freedom, peace, joy, abundance, truth, beauty, justice, this one is expressing itself through me, through the Creative Living Fellowship community, through all. We are all individuals expressing in the family of the divine in our human experience. And so from that awareness, our oneness with the infinite, I speak a word this day. I affirm and claim that for every prayer request and desire upon the heart of the individuals who are touched by this prayer, that there is a sacred yes, that the law reveals immediately the consciousness, quality, and being of the prayer spoken. Love is expressing, wholeness revealing, peace breaking out, abundance flowing, truth expressed. God is revealing itself through answered prayer because that is the nature of the activity of the law. And I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that this prayer is a blessing to brothers and sisters, our family of all religions and paths and spiritual traditions and practices. This is an all-encompassing prayer saying, wherever one turns to the truth, we respect, we honor, we participate. I give thanks that this beautiful community is uplifted in every way, and I know that we are all circulating a blessing that extends beyond our individual spheres. Grateful that the law says yes, grateful that this prayer is operated upon by law, I release it. I let go. I let God be God, revealing in, through, and as each one of us. We know this is done, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you, beloveds.